Imagine pulling into your own driveway only to have sirens blaring because your kid parked legally on the street, then watching the self-appointed queen of the cul-de-sac melt down when her power play backfires spectacularly. In the sun-dappled suburbs of Willow Creek, Ohio, where picket fences hid a pressure cooker of petty rules, Tom Hargrove was tinkering with his vintage Mustang in the garage one lazy Saturday morning. The kind of neighborhood where everyone waved hello but whispered judgments behind closed blinds. That's when the wail of a police siren shattered the illusion of peace, pulling Tom out with grease on his hands and a knot in his gut. There she was, Beatrice B. Hargrove. No. Wait. Beatrice B. Wilkins. The HOA president with her helmet of peroxide blonde hair, pearls choking her neck, and a clipboard clutched like a shield. She was berating his son, Alex, who'd just driven home from grad school and parked his beat-up Honda right in front of their house. "This is an outrage. You're obstructing the sacred view of the mailboxes," B screeched, her voice pitching like a tea kettle on steroids. Tom stepped forward, calm as a cucumber on the outside. But inside, he was cataloging every twitch of her overplucked eyebrows. "B. It's broad daylight. And he's parked legally. What's the beef?" She spun on him, eyes bulging like she'd swallowed a lemon whole. "The beef, Mr. Hargrove, is Section 3.1.7, no vehicles impeding communal aesthetics. I've called the authorities. Safety first. You know." Tom bit back a laugh. This woman treated bylaws like the Ten Commandments. But only when it suited her throne. Alex, leaning against his car with arms crossed, shot Tom a look that said, "Is this for real?" Before Tom could respond, B was already on her phone, stage whispering into it, "Yes. Officer. The Hargroves are at it again, hostile. Non-compliant. A real threat to our harmonious community." Tom's wife, Lena, poked her head out the front door, apron dusted with flour from baking cookies. "B. Honey. You called the cops over a parked car? In front of our own home?" B.A.'s smile was all teeth. No warmth. "Lena. Dear. Rules are rules. We can't have riffraff turning our streets into a parking lot. Property values. You understand." The cruiser pulled up, and out stepped Deputy Ruiz, Maria Ruiz, who'd babysat Alex back in high school, attended their block parties, and even borrowed Tom's tools once for her own car. "Tom? Lena? What's the hubbub?" Maria asked, hugging Lena like an old friend. B.A.'s face drained of color faster than a popped balloon, her clipboard trembling. "Deputy. This vehicle is a blatant violation." Maria eyed the car. Then B. "It's parked fine. B. No obstruction. No hazard. HOA doesn't trump traffic laws." B.A.'s lips pursed into a thin line. "But the covenant," Maria cut her off with a wave. "Covenant schmovement. You're wasting taxpayer dollars again." As Maria drove off with a wave, B hissed at Tom. "This isn't over. Hargrove. You'll regret defying the order." Tom just smiled politely. But inside, he was already plotting, years of her spreading rumors about his unsavory late-night garage sessions. He was restoring cars, for God's sake, had worn thin. Little did B know, her mask was starting to crack. A few days later, an envelope slithered into their mailbox, no stamp. Just the HOA seal slapped on like a bad tattoo. Tom opened it over breakfast, Alex munching cereal across the table. Notice of infraction, unauthorized street encroachment, it read in pompous bold. It accused them of endangering emergency access with Alex's car. Slapped on a $250 fine. And threatened escalatory measures if unpaid. Lena snatched it. Her eyes narrowing. Encroachment? It's the curb. For crying out loud. Alex chuckled darkly. Communal encroachment sounds like a bad sci-fi flick. Tom didn't laugh. He'd heard whispers at the neighborhood barbecue about BA's fines vanishing into thin air. Folks paying up to avoid her wrath. She's bluffing, he said. But he folded the letter carefully, tucking it into a drawer. That night, while Lena slept, Tom pulled out the old HOA binder from the basement, dusty pages of bylaws he'd ignored since buying the house a decade ago. Flipping through, he spotted the gotcha. The infraction committee required 3 impartial board members for reviews. But the board? B. Her sycophant brother-in-law Gerald. And a ghost named Edith who'd been MIA since her knee surgery. No committee meant no legit fine. Tom smirked in the dim light. BA's empire was built on smoke and mirrors. Whispers turned to rumbles as Tom quietly canvassed the neighbors. Old Mr. Patel next door grumbled over his fence. She fined me $150 for my bird feeder, said it attracted vermin. Paid it to shut her up. Mrs. Lopez across the street, my holiday lights were excessive illumination. What a joke. Tom nodded, jotting notes. His face a mask of sympathy while his mind whirred like a well-oiled engine. B. Meanwhile, amped up her crusade. She cornered Lena at the grocery store. All saccharine smiles. Lena. Sweetie. I hate to mention it, but that fine's due. We wouldn't want liens on your property. Would we? For the greater good. Lena's response was ice cold. Greater good? Like how you beautified the park with those funds that never materialized. BA's eyes flickered. Guilt? Panic? She recovered with a sniff. Accusations like that could lead to defamation. Dear. But Tom was piecing it together. A quick online search revealed Willow Oversight LLC, a shell company tied to BA's old family name. Where fines funneled like a shady ATM. He gathered affidavits from 6 households, each detailing bogus charges, fence heights off by an inch. Suspicious yard gnomes. One couple, the Young Millers, confessed they'd paid $400 for a non-approved mailbox color, thinking it was official. She's not enforcing rules, Tom muttered to Lena one evening, spreading papers on the kitchen table. She's running a racket. Lena's face hardened. And spreading lies about us to justify it, calling you troublemaker at meetings. Tom's patience was his weapon. He didn't confront yet. Instead, he tipped off the county auditor anonymously, watching BA's noose tighten from the shadows. The boil-over hit when B showed up at their door unannounced, clipboard in hand. Her face a storm cloud of self-righteousness. I'm here for the mandatory compliance audit, she announced, trying to peer inside. Tom blocked the doorway. Voice steady. Audit? On what authority? B? Your imaginary committee? Her cheeks flushed crimson, eyes darting like a cornered rat. The bylaws empower me to, Tom interrupted with a mild smile. Empower you to forge fines and pocket them through Willow Oversight? The county's onto you. BA's jaw dropped, a mix of shock and fury twisting her features. How dare you slander me? I've dedicated years to this community. Neighbors started peeking from windows as her voice rose. Dedicated? Like embezzling grant money for sidewalk improvements that never happened? Tom pressed, holding up a printout. BA's hands shook. She stammered. That's a misunderstanding. Property values, but the mask shattered when Deputy Ruiz rolled up again. This time with auditors in tow. B. Wilkins. We have questions about financial discrepancies, Maria said flatly. BA's face went from smug to panicked. Her pearls suddenly looking like a noose. This is harassment. I'll sue, she yelped. But they led her away for questioning. Her protests echoing like a bad comedy routine. Tom watched. A quiet satisfaction blooming, years of her rumors about his shady dealings, restoring cars at night. Scandalous, now boomeranging. The fallout was glorious chaos. At the emergency HOA meeting in the stuffy community hall. Packed with folding chairs and simmering resentment. Edith hobbled in on her walker to chair it. We've got evidence of fraud, she croaked. Waiting Tom's compiled dossier. Residents erupted, Mr. Patel stood. Voice booming. She called my curry smells a nuisance. Fine me $100. The Millers added. Our rainbow flag was divisive decorum, $200 down the drain. B. Seated in the corner. Tried to interject, I was protecting standards. Ungrateful lot. But the room laughed, a bitter, cathartic bark, as Tom laid out the timeline. Forged grants siphoned $15,000 into her LLC. Dues skimmed monthly. Gerald, her brother-in-law, bolted mid-meeting. Later flipping like a pancake to the DA. Admitting he'd signed blank checks for kickbacks. The vote ousted B unanimously, she stormed out. Muttering threats. But the sheriff's office was waiting outside. Indictments followed, embezzlement. Forgery. Mail fraud. Her trial was a circus, B on the stand. Pearls intact. Claiming misguided zeal for order, but emails and bank trails buried her. Plea deal, 4 years. Restitution full. The neighborhood bloomed anew, Rayall Park benches installed. Meetings turned barbecues. No more phantom fines. Tom parked his Mustang proudly. Waving to Edith as she strolled by with fresh-baked pies. Alex visited often. Parking wherever. Chuckling at the bee-free zone. Willow Creek breathed easier. Proving one family's quiet stand could topple a tin pot tyrant. But here's the kicker, was B the real villain? Or just a symptom of a system that lets busybodies play God with community standards? You tell me, right or wrong?